G'day everyone, it's Jill, also known as GeniAus. Yesterday, after not much fanfare, the New South Wales Department Registry of Births, Deaths and Marriages launched their new online portal, the online portal to their registry indexes. Since that time, I've noticed on social media a number of comments about the product. Some users have been directing questions to the registry via the registry's Facebook page. Tanya Honey put out a message on Google Plus asking anyone else if they were using the product. And in a few forums, other people have made comments. Joy and Alan Murren made a comment or made some comments on their Facebook page, and other people responded to them. So all over the place have been these comments about this product. Now, we've been looking forward to this for a long time, and those of us who had heard about it were hoping that it would be something really special. But I wonder if it really is. I don't want to be bar humbug, but I think that perhaps the registry have launched this product without a period of beta testing. I don't know if they've actually been out to the genealogy family history community and asked people to have a look at a trial site and comment on it. I certainly would have appreciated being able to comment. It appears as though they've launched the site before it's actually quite ready, as some of the functionality that's been promised isn't there. So that's a bit tragic. I think the best way forward is for me to actually share the screen with you, and it's not happening, the screen from the registry, and we'll go through the site. This is the page that takes us to the search facility. Now, if you're like many people, you probably, by the way, I've noticed that it has changed yesterday. Yesterday, this bit that was down the bottom about family transcriptions page was only a link up the page. Came in before starting the family history records, so they must have decided to change that around. So they have. But if you are like many others and like me, you will just launch straight in to searching, because we only read the instructions when we have a problem. But you'll note that there is a help guide here that one can download for guidance on using this new site. I must say that most of the help is related to ordering the records through their online payment system. There's only a very small amount of help attached or given for actual searching. I think that's a little bit sad. Anyway, let's have a look at it. So to access the search screen, we click here, start searching family history records, and we're confronted with this rather bland page. I think perhaps we could have been given a bit more on the page. But never mind, it's got lots of nice white. So we're able to search births, deaths or marriages. Births up to, now today's the 24th of June. So theoretically, we should be able to births, deaths up to the 23rd of June 1984, and marriages up to the 23rd of 1961. But even though it appears as though we're searching that time range, I believe that that facility won't be available until next year. I read that somewhere on some forum today. So we're actually, I believe, only searching up to the end of December in 1913 for births, 1983 for deaths, and 1963 for marriages. So now we decide what we want to search. Now, I think it would have been nicer if instead of this drop-down menu that one has to select, from which one has to select, one could actually have a series of radio buttons where one could just have to do one click. Either click births, deaths or marriages and be taken to the search screen. But no, we have to open the box and then select births, deaths or marriages. So I'll select births. This is the screen we're presented with. If we know the registration number, we can just type it in here and away we go. I presume we need a family name. We need at least either a family name or a first given name or other given name to search a birth. I'm going to search for my... No, we won't search for my grandfather because he hasn't got a birth record. We will search for my grandfather. So that's all we do. Now we come down here. If we know the exact date, we can put in the exact date here. So we don't want a date of event range. But if we don't know the exact date or range, we select yes. And then we get 2 date boxes. So I don't know, grandfather was born somewhere between 1870 and 1890. Theoretically, we're supposed to be able to search by the place where the event was registered, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So then we just hit search, and hopefully we'll find out details of my grandfather. Now I happen to know which one he is. So this is my grandfather, Thomas William Curry, son of Thomas and Catherine. Now let's look at the screen. We get the registration number. That's what we use on the search screen if we want to save it and go back at a later date. We've got that. We've got the family name, given names, father's given name, mother's given names. The district, which is so useful for people who are doing one-name searches or people that know their family lived in a particular area like Cobar or Canowindra or Cowra or Carcoar, as some of my family members did. The district should be populated in this column. Another user asked on the Facebook page if this was available, but apparently it's something that yet has to be done. Makes searching a little bit less fruitful for those who don't want to have to buy lots of certificates that perhaps could be wrong. If you know the district, it's a better gamble. You're going to be purchasing a certificate than if you don't know the district. And then, of course, one of the big things that was trumpeted with this product was that we would be able to order online and have emailed to us directly PDF copies of our certificates. But everyone in the column here is unavailable, and for every search that I did, every hit was unavailable. So I asked a question of the registry on Facebook yesterday, and they told me that that's a feature that's yet to come. So already in this new product, we've got 2 of the features that are missing. One can still use the old search facility, so I'd advise you to save the URL of that, and maybe it's better doing your searches through that for the time being and mature. As we could previously do, we can sort columns by given name or father's given name, which is great for putting together family groups. Mother's given name, again very useful for putting together family groups. If one wants to modify a search, there is a button here to modify criteria. I think I'll say that I want to order Thomas's record, even though I've got it. I can add it to my order like that. Then I can update my order. Delivery method. And here's where the fun starts. I can say I want it delivered by email. I can update the order, and there you go. So that just stays there. Note that the price of these certificates are $31 because we're supplying the index number. If we haven't got the number, it costs over $40. So now I'll continue searching and do another search. This time I'm going to search for a death. I've been toying with the idea of doing a one-name study, and my grandmother's maiden name, Pusel, is really an unusual name. Anyone with that name is related to me. Anyone in Australia, we're all is related to me. We're all descended from James Pusel, a convict. There are lots and lots of variations of this name, but the 2 most common ones are Pus, P-U-S-I-L-L, and P-U-S-E-L-L. So one can use a wildcard. But if one reads the instructions on the sheet, the PDF one can download, one discovers that for a wildcard search, we use a question mark. Previously, now I've lost where I was up to. Previously, for a wildcard search, one used an asterisk. So that's causing a bit of confusion, and people have made comments about that. I actually looked at the instructions, which is unusual. So if I put PUS question mark, they'll want to know all the Pusels. So I go from 1856, when deaths were first recorded, up until 1983, and search. Now let's see what I get. It has been a bit busy, this site, in the last couple of days, and I have had a couple of messages. Look like I've got 3 of Pusels who are all related to me. Lots of potential cousins there. Now, I'm wanting to sort this by family name because I'm interested to see if there are any variations. And I know what I should have done. I'm going to modify my criteria. because sometimes Pusel has been spelled with just one L. I'm going to test out searching with just the one L and see what comes back. Now, I haven't tried this out before, so we'll see. It's a bit of a lucky dip. See how many cousins, etc. I might dig up this time. It thinks for quite a while. No matching records found. So for that, I know there are some PUS ILs. There's a little bit of an issue there. Let's go and modify our criteria at least to get the... Yes. Now let's search. There we are. That was a bit quicker because it must have been cached. So I've got 3 pages of hits now, so that I can bunch the various spellings of the name together. I will search by family name. Okay, so we've still got Desmond Robert happening first, but let's go to the last page and see what we can see. Well, what do you know? That worked yesterday, and it doesn't appear to have worked today. Yesterday, I actually got on page 3 some PUSI double Ls. Well, I don't know what gremlins have got into the system, but that's a bit funny. Perhaps it was that I searched births yesterday. So let's try births. So for births, we want a date range again, date of the event, 1856, through to, for births, we'll go 1913, and maybe that was my example and I'm not a very clever searcher. Now I've got 4 pages of Pusels. So more have been born in up to 1913 than died up to 1983. Let's search by family name again. We'll go to the last page and see if we've got any spelling variations. What we do, we've got James E. Pusel. He's actually my grandmother's brother, so he's got a PUSI double L. Are there any other PUSI? Yes, quite a few on page 3. So that's the original James the Convict, James and Mariah Tucker. So they've all of their 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 children as PUSI double L. But as we went down the generation, the spelling went back to SE double L. So that's all over the shop. That's how easy it is. We can search by given names. Let's do a mother's given name and see if Mariah has any more children. We'll go back. She's got 1, 2, 3, 4 there. And on this page she's got another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So indeed she's got some registered as PUSE and some as PUSI. So we haven't got anything more really with this than what we had with the earlier search screen. We've got the promise of the availability. That's great news. That's the best news, is the wildcard is back. But there's something that people have been lamenting. Let's have a look at a marriage record or a marriage search. So we go back to the search screen. From continue searching, we'll select a marriage. Now before we could put in a groom's family name, so we'll try Curry. Alan, that's my dad. We'll do a range, and we know they were married in 1949, but 48, but we'll just put that in and we'll do a search. Oh, silly me. It should tell me a message that I've had a little bit of a boo-boo here. Yes, I didn't put the whole 49. That should be right. And this is the problem that people have been experiencing. One cannot search for a marriage with just one of the partners. One needs the two partners. Now, if you're doing a one-name study and you're looking for every instance of a particular surname, this is just plain useless. If you're looking to see or to discover the name of someone, one of your ancestors or their cousins or sisters or brothers married, and they've got a more common name than Alan Curry, they might be, I don't know, Percy. You can't find out who Percy married because you're required to give either a family name or a first given name for a bride. Now maybe if I put a wild card in and one of the most common letters of the alphabet, that might and B. Now let's do that as a given name. Surely lots of brides will have E in their given name. I've just lost my question mark. Let's see if that works. No, that wildcard doesn't work there. Now here's something funny. The wildcard used to be an asterisk. I wonder if that works. Huh. Real constant. The instructions say use a question mark. When I used a question mark in my surname search, it worked. I had previously tried to use an asterisk in a surname search. It didn't work. But yet when I use the asterisk from this screen, it works. So please, registry, make this consistent. Please, registry, let us or give us the ability to search by just one of the parties of the marriage. Someone who was rather cynical said that on the Facebook page that this is just a money-making exercise by the registry. Now, I don't think it really is. I'm sure the registry will look forward to any funds they make as a result of putting this online, but if the registry don't let us do marriage searches with only one party, then they're likely to lose a significant source of revenue. Anyway, let's have a look at this marriage search results. It appears as though only one Alan Curry married someone with an E in their first name. I don't know if it had to be a beginning E. I think it did. So the E is Elsie Harriet, and that's my mother. It's interesting to note that there's a transcription error here. My Elsie Harriet is 1T, and I'm sure if I dig out Mum's original certificate, I will see that her name is spelt with 1T, and that's something else. Someone who was today commented that there was an error in the transcription that they were looking at. So I'm just going to flick back to my screen, or maybe I can just share what Tanya said. I've been playing around with the New South Wales Registry Index search, and so far I think I would rather the old one. In some ways it appears unfinished, And you still cannot use wildcards for searching, which is hard to understand. Tanya, it's the question mark, in some instances. I wanted to search for a marriage, but as I only knew one person's name, I could not do the search. You need names from both. So unless you feel like guessing a name and taking a punt that it is correct, don't bother trying to search unless you know names from both parties getting married. Would love to hear what I think. Might be some workarounds I haven't figured out yet. Fingers crossed. Of course, one dummy replied, and that was me. That's what gave me the idea for hosting this short hangout. I will just put a +1 on Tanya's post to let her know that I read it. Here we have on Facebook the New South Wales Registry of Births, Deaths and Marriages page. I might suggest that if you are a Facebook user, you hop across and like this page. And if you have any thoughts on the Lifelink product, perhaps you could go along and ask a question or make a comment. I must say that when I made my comment, are there any records available as PDF files yet, or is that a future enhancement, etc.? I got a rather prompt response. Yes, it does look as if the PDF option is found away. It might take a little more time. Well, I think they should know. Look as if is a bit wishy-washy. But anyway, I was pleased that they replied. Someone else commented, where is the detail for the district? It is practically useless without a district. And the registry replied, yes, district info is currently missing. Our technical team will need to put this on their to-do list. I thought that it should be more than on their to-do list. They probably shouldn't have launched it if they wish to share those data. This lady here has made a comment about the date of event range and marriages and things. Now, it's unfortunate that 1, 2, 3 people have posted messages yesterday and this morning, and they haven't received a response yet. If the registry is to have a Facebook page, I think perhaps they should monitor it and respond to the questions, because they've got 410 likes on this Facebook page, and I can see that several of my friends are monitoring the page. So this is a great way to get in touch with their users. It'd be really good if they could keep us in the loop. Anyway, a bit billion. I don't like to be negative, but I think there needs to be a little bit of work done on this product before, well, there should have been work done on this product before it was launched. It's probably a bit late to take it down, but perhaps the technicians should get a bit of overtime, because if they pay the technicians to do the work, they're sure to be able to reap the rewards. I'm not even going to demonstrate the ordering of certificates, because the new function is really the online delivery as PDFs. That's the new thing, and until that becomes available, I think it's a bit pointless demonstrating. Anyway, I don't know what you think about Lifelink, but I'm a little bit disappointed. So that's all I have to say. Oh, someone's actually watching me. That's nice. Hello there. So I'm going off to cook the dinner now, and I'll post this link to this on other forums and hope that it promotes conversation and some comments on that registry Facebook page. That's all I've got to say for now. Hooroo.